Hey, it's Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD. In my over 30 years of medical practice, I've made it my goal to help you create a great life by achieving a strong mind, a healthy body, and an unshakable spirit. What I want to talk to you today about is this article in Scientific America. I find it fascinating because we're always told how good mindfulness is, mindfulness training. And this article actually kind of blows that up. So let's go over it. It's really interesting. Sometimes mindlessness, mind you, mindlessness is better than mindfulness. In some situations, don't pay so much attention. Be present. This is the mantra of mindfulness meditation and a supposed key to self-awareness and acceptance. In one type of mindfulness exercise, the goal is to perform routine activities with a heightened sense of attention. Try to take the time to experience your environment with all your senses: touch, sound, sight, smell, and taste. For example, when you eat a favorite food, take time to smell, taste, and truly enjoy it, recommends one Mayo Clinic article. I don't disagree with that in some circumstances, but if you and I both know, if we're really doing that all the time, it kind of gets obsessive, right? It kind of breeds almost a neurosis and anxiety in a sense. Sometimes. I think eating, actually, it's a good idea because it slows you down and gets you to really appreciate what you're eating. But let's see what this author continues to say. Mindfulness may indeed have psychological benefits. Earlier this year, a synthesis of randomized controlled trials revealed that mindfulness-based interventions had small to moderate benefits for a number of health outcomes, including stress, anxiety, and depression. That said, the effects of mindfulness were smaller and less consistent when compared with those of other therapies, and some effects appear to fade months after the intervention. Taken together, the results suggest that mindfulness-based interventions may be better than nothing for some outcomes, but that more research is needed to compare mindfulness with other therapies. So let me know what you think about mindfulness. Have you had success with it in meditation? I think meditation is great. It's helped me a lot, but just like with anything, too much of one thing can be bad for you, right? So I've told you in other videos, I ran a couple marathons back in the day, right? I don't think marathon running is good for you. I don't think excessive running is good for you. I don't think running more than 10 to 15 miles a week is really good for you. Anything more than that can become obsessive. I remember when I was training, if I missed a day, I would feel anxiety. I'd feel guilt. So too much of one thing cannot be good for you. It can actually do more harm. And so if we're overly focused on certain mindfulness behaviors, if we're walking, for instance, if it's not a set time, for instance, if we're walking and it's kind of a walking meditation that we know what we're going to be doing as a walking meditation, that's good. You focus on maybe the air hitting your face, the ground underneath your feet, the smells, the environment, and taking that all in. If that is what you've decided to do, I think that's good for you and good for your health. But on the other hand, if you're feeling that you're over-focusing, micromanaging every type of step you're taking, then that breeds more anxiety, I think. But let's go on. One thing the mindfulness-based interventions had in common is that they all attempted to cultivate, this is important, cultivate focus on the present moment via multiple sessions of meditation practice. And yeah, that is, in a sense, good, because when our brain takes us to the future or the past, if it takes us to the past, a lot of times that breeds depression, regret. If it takes us to the future, it's the unknown. It breeds anxiety and fear. So yes, bringing it back into the present moment can sometimes neutralize those feelings. So yeah, it can be useful, but again, too much of a good thing may not be so good. Although mindfulness has its merits, psychological research has also revealed that in some circumstances, it's important to be mindless. Ignorance is bliss, maybe, right? Think about it. We used to, when I was in residency, and a person would come into the emergency room, let's say with a heart attack, a really bad heart attack, and they were all cheery and okay the day after, not realizing the effect that this heart attack had on their heart, the function of their heart. And we as doctors knew that they had a very serious condition. But we used to always say that ignorance was bliss. We knew too much, because if we felt that if that happened to us, we'd be depressed. We'd be totally blown away. Our life would be over because we knew too much. Sometimes not knowing those details can be helpful. And in here, those are some circumstances it's important to be mindless. That is, as we develop skill in complex tasks, we can perform them with increasing facility until attention seems to be unnecessary. Everyday examples range from riding a bike to chopping cucumbers to brushing your teeth. And there's a higher level of performance, and especially in things that we want to become more skilled at, when we have unconscious competence, meaning our competence in something, our ability to do something is unconscious, it's automatic. And I always talk about the automatic brain and how our brain will do whatever it takes to protect us from danger, threat, or vulnerability. And if we could make those situations where we shouldn't be anxious or we shouldn't be fearful, if we could make those into something that's more comfortable and familiar to us, then our brain doesn't fight or flee them anymore, and it becomes more unconscious that we can do them instead of thinking about them so much. So let's go on. I find this very interesting. Let me know what you think. And if you like what I'm bringing to you, please subscribe to my channel. Just hit the like. First of all, like this video, then hit the subscribe and notification bell so you can get notified when a new video comes in. And again, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments. Underlying the state of automaticity, as cognitive psychologists call it, are mental processes that can be executed without paying attention to them. Unconscious competence also. These processes run off without conscious awareness, unconscious, a chain reaction of mental events. We don't perform all tasks automatically, but many can be performed this way once they are well practiced. And that is what any musician will tell you, any athlete will tell you. When their activity becomes unconscious, you can do it. One of the activities that I learned as an adult was playing the drums. And once I could be automatic with it, I didn't have to think about it, that's when it's most pure. That's when it comes gracefully. And that's when the sound also elevates to a level that is appreciated by others. So mindlessness, rather than thinking about every type of stroke that you take. And when you start thinking about it, it really messes you up. To be clear, paying attention is important when learning a new skill. In a study of our own, we found that measures of cognitive ability that tapped the capacity to focus attention predicted novice pianists' ability to learn and play Happy Birthday to You. Right. When you're learning, you need to focus on that, right? But the goal is to make it become automatic and unconscious. But expertise research has also revealed that paying too much attention to what you're doing can have damaging effects. I know that, particularly when you perform well-practiced skills. In fact, this is one of the reasons why some experts appear to choke under pressure. They think too much about the mechanics of the tasks at hand. And this one I love, because I just started playing golf a few years ago. I love it. It's very frustrating. If anybody has a low threshold for frustration, don't take up golf. It's a very technical sport. So this is a really interesting study, and I really believe it from personal experience. In a classic study, cognitive psychiatrist Shion Balak and her colleagues had skilled golfers attempt to sink putts under different experimental conditions. In one scenario, the golfers were simply instructed to pay attention to the swing of their club and say stop when they finish their swing. Pay attention to the details. I take some golf lessons, and every time that the instructor gives me a new task to think about, I mess it up. I can't swing. It takes me a while to groove it and just relax. And when I relax, don't think about it, it just happens naturally. I surprise myself. In one scenario, the golfers were simply instructed to pay attention to the swing of their club. Oh, I read that, and say stop. It's important to focus on that, because now we're going to get to the other condition. They were instructed to listen for a target sound while ignoring other noises and say the word tone when they heard the target sound. So they're not thinking about their swing. They're going about putting, but they're saying tone when they hear the sound. So who do you think did better? The ones who were instructed to focus on their swing, or the listening for the tone? Counterintuitively, the skilled golfers perform substantially worse when they focused on their swing than when they paid attention to irrelevant sounds. I think that's really interesting. The effect of paying attention to their swing was so damaging that the golfers actually did better when they were warming up before the experiment began. Interesting, right? More recently, psychologist Yannick Balk and his colleagues had golfers try different interventions designed to mitigate the effects of performance pressure. I get performance pressure even when I'm just playing with my friends. That's how frustrating the game is. The researchers induced performance pressure by videotaping the participants, telling them that their score sheets would be posted publicly at the clubhouse, and incentivizing strong performance with coupons to the golf shop. Without an intervention, the golfers performed significantly worse under pressure. Yet participants who were encouraged to think about something else, specifically a song that they knew by heart, improved when the stakes were high. It is worth cautioning that these results should be replicated in larger samples and across different contexts. Yes, I agree with that. But from personal experience, I think this plays out, at least with me. Nevertheless, the message from this research is that focusing too carefully on the execution of well-practiced motor sequences can cause mistakes. Of course, we should not resign to go through life on autopilot, missing opportunities to make deeper connections with ourselves, one another, and our environment. It's true. Sometimes we get lost. I know when I'm walking our dog, if I focus on the trees, the birds, the air on my face, being right in the moment, it really is very freeing to me. But I know that's what I'm going to do. But if I'm focused on a particular task and really micromanaging the details of it, I'll mess up. So it is important, again, to make deeper connections, to be in the moment sometimes, and to be mindful. But there are situations where we should let automaticity or unconscious competence take over. The next time you ride a bike, for instance, don't overthink it. If you're going to try skiing, if you've skied, don't try to think of it. If you're going to try to play golf, don't try to think of every single movement you're taking. So let me know what you think about this. And until next time, I'm Dr. Charles, a.k.a. CoachMD, urging you to stay strong in mind, in body, and in soul. Bye for now.
Hey, Dr. Charles, CoachMD. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to like and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you think you have a friend who might benefit from this video, share it with them. For access to exclusive content, support my Patreon. There you'll get private access to videos, meditations, health tips, even relationship and financial tips. You'll have a say in what I produce and be able to participate in a monthly call with me. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you soon.